Hey, hey, hey! I think it worked. We're live.
Uh-oh.
It's our first time popping cherries up in here.
There you go.
Going live at Just Go Lift to bring you our OCR training tips and tricks for today. Yeah?
Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can get the link working. Hold on.
Oh, all right,
You
all
got
right.
it.
So, let's walk through our facility here. If you guys didn't know, I would hope you know, we are an OCR training OCR training style gym. So we have lots of fun rigs in the back there. We got ropes to practice on. We will be playing with those. We even have a crazy swinging pegboard in the back. Mickey always makes it look super, super easy. So today, what we are going to actually talk with you guys about is just the importance of programming. So many people go into these races, and I find a lot of people honestly aren't really prepared for what they're walking into. And Spartan tries to do a really good job in regards to giving you guys tips and tricks for the obstacles, but we want to give you a one-stop shop, everything that you are looking for to succeed. We want to include mindset, actual training. How are you going to get your programming in? So how are you going to actually accomplish the race that you are looking for? So one of the biggest things is you signed up for a race. I hope you signed up for a race, or you're looking at signing up for a race. And so what race is that? Put it down in the books. If you actually sign up for that race, it'll more than likely hold you to going to the race. Most people, some people like to go big or go home. Some people are like, I'm gonna start with a beast. I'm just gonna beast it out. It can be a good thing, it could be a bad thing depending on what your current fitness level is. I would say if you're new to this, it would be best to kind of like put your foot in the water and then dive all in and go training for that. So in regards to like Spartan races, they have their sprint super beasts, ultra beasts. They got a Gogies, they got hurricane heats, they got a little bit of everything depending on what it is that you are looking for. So I would say start small so that you can know how to train, and you can actually, like, when you get to the race, you can see what it is that you excel at and what it is that you struggle at. How are we doing over there?
Almost there.
We're almost there. All right, so anyways, so you've picked a race. Hopefully you're gonna be starting with the sprint, and you're gonna put it on the calendar. You're gonna sign up, and signing up will actually commit you to hitting that. With that, you are then going to figure out a training plan. So how are you going to actually achieve what it is that you're looking to achieve? And so with a training plan, you want to figure out like what it is that you're strong at, what it is that you struggle at, whether you need more upper body strength, you need more endurance, is it actual like nutrition and you need to fuel your body properly throughout the race? There's all types of different things, but it really depends on like what you are currently doing. With that, once you have figured out like what your strong points are and what your weak points are, how are you going to actually push past those strong points and weak points? So let's say, at least for women, for me, upper body strength is a huge struggle. We're not as strong as you guys. Holding that engaged position is very challenging. And so really learning like, okay, like I know that I have a hard time with my upper body strength, and on these races, grip strength is huge. So the more that you can build that grip strength and that upper body strength, the more that you're going to be able to accelerate at these races. And coming up with a training plan for that. So how are you going to come up with the training plan? You're going to make sure the race is not a week ahead. We got a lot of people in here. We're like, hey, where you been at? They're like, oh, I'm doing a Spartan race and it's in a week. I'm like, what have you been doing? They're like, absolutely nothing. I just wanted to practice. That is a recipe for disaster. Coming in for a day to train is not going to make any difference at all. If you are a seasoned athlete and you do other types of workouts and you come in to just mess around on the obstacles, you're going to do probably just fine. But if you're a newbie and you're like, oh, I just want to mess around on the obstacles, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So you don't ever want to just practice for the obstacles on the obstacles. You want to actually practice your strength for the obstacles. So to build up the strength, like I said, my upper body strength, I have a hard time with it. So I need to come up with some type of upper body training plan that I can do to help build my strength. Whether that's hanging on a bar, and how long can you hang on a bar for? So hang on a bar, test yourself, maybe it's only 10 seconds. As you get older, it becomes a lot more challenging to hang on a bar. As a kid, you're like, oh, monkey bar is no problem. And then you get older and you're hanging on a bar for 10 seconds and you're like, this is cockamamie. So really figure out like where's that starting point. Test your grip strength by hanging on a bar, and then you can also test and see like what's your pull-ups. Can you even do any pull-ups? And if you can't do any pull-ups, that's fine, especially as a woman. It's hard. Sorry. Beep. There's the star for that. And so if you can't do pull-ups, then go down to the regression of things to still build that upper body strength. So whether that's like taking bands and doing like pull downs with the bands, whether that's doing overhead presses, there's so many different things. But you have to figure out a plan to figure out that progress. If you just start messing around on the obstacles and thinking like, okay, I'm just gonna wing it, it's a recipe for disaster. It's like Mickey likes to say, if you want to curl, let's say a 50-pound dumbbell, you think that your training plan is like, okay, every single day I'm going to go to this dumbbell and I'm going to try and curl it. You going to curl it? No, you're not going to curl it.
Well, 50 pounds is not big.
Okay, women. 110 pounds, whatever it is that you want to do. Do you think you're going to be able to curl it? No. What do you got to do? You got to build up the strength to actually like be able to do it. And so you have to take those small steps to get to that big goal. Every single time, if you just go to it and you're like, ugh, like you're doing nothing. You're doing absolutely nothing. So let go of the ego and start from the beginning. It is okay to start from the beginning, but you have to start from somewhere and you have to start with a plan. That's my short spiel so far. What do you got on that? You kind of heard.
No, I definitely, and obviously, it's like she was saying, that's something that I like to say in regards to dumbbells, but it's a huge thing that can be, applied towards all of the obstacle course racing, so especially with like ropes or the rig or things like that. People just think like, oh, I just got to play on it or try over and over and over and over, and then they end up tearing their hands and being extremely frustrated. It's like, yeah, like obviously you have to have some hands-on experience, but you also have to build the base knowledge and the base strength in order to be able to do it and to make all of your multiple attempts worth it. And so like not just going up to the obstacle and saying like, hey look, well I don't get to practice it in the gym or training, so I'm just going to try it over and over and over again at an open house or on course. That's potentially setting yourself up for frustration. So like building, like she was talking about, the base strength that you need in order to be able to apply the skills that you have is super important. So like having a training program that's going to help to one, like build your overall endurance for a race, as well as build your strength, because like for most of the obstacles, for sure, there's technique and skill involved that will make it so that you don't have to put as much strength into it, but you still have to have a base strength for it. And so like doing the work off of the obstacle will help to be more proficient on the obstacle. So like she was saying, don't necessarily go and try it over and over and over. Build a routine or a plan that's going to help to move you forward, so that way when you do go to practice and develop the skills, it's easier. That's one of the things that we work with people here all the time. They come in, they get super excited, like, when do I get to climb a rope? When do I get to get on the obstacles? And they get like super, it's like, hey look, like give us some time, we'll build some good foundations. And then we have people like, after they train for a while and they're at a good base and they have the requirements that they need in regards to strength, and we show them the skills that it takes to get up the rope, then they get up the rope first or second try, rather than beating themselves up over and over again and getting frustrated. And then that also, like, not only does that like, build strength and help them feel more confident, it helps them build their confidence, because it's like, hey look, like all this hard work paid off. Whereas like if you spend all of your time and energy struggling and fighting to get up the rope without having the basic strength to do so, or a good foundation to build on, then you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna feel like you're wasting your time. And so like invest in your time appropriately. That way like it's rewarding in many different ways. And so like in regards to setting up a plan for the race, like she had talked about, like you definitely want to pick a race, pick a date, pick a length, all that fun stuff. Identify why it's important, like one, to do that race, why it's important to do well in that race, and then setting up ways to train moving forward. And there's some basic things that you would want to figure out in regards to training. So like one, decide you're gonna like where you're going. So I'm gonna pick this race. So identify that race, and then identify how much time you have between then and now, and then start laying out your training plan. And so for your training plan, you want to establish a few things. You want to establish a frequency of how often you're going to train, and then like lay it out in a way that's going to build, like, once again, that confidence in success and moving forward. So like you can't, like, be honest with yourself. If you're like, hey, I have a race in 6 months, that's better time frame than 2 weeks, and then so I have a race in a couple months, and I want to start training. Don't just like, I'm going to train every day for the next 6 months. Like, that's unrealistic. I mean, maybe you can. And it's not realistic for me. I have other things that I would want to do. And so it's like, all right, like, what can I do consistently for the next 6 months? Can I do 3 days a week? Can I do 4 days a week? Establish a frequency that you can keep and do successfully for the next 6 months, or however long it's going to take in order to get to your goal. And that doesn't mean you only have to do that, but that's the baseline of your program. Is, all right, this is my frequency, 3 times a week. And then, like, if you want, you can do 3 times a week, and every 4th week go out and do a long run, or where you're going to do a tempo run, or check your pace, or a fit test, or something like that, to make sure that your training is paying off. But you want to lay out that frequency and the intensity of which you're going to be training. So like, all right, I'm going to do 3 days a week, and I'm going to go fucking hard for 3 days a week. Or like, I'm going to do 3 days a week, and then like 2 days are based on strength, because I really struggle with obstacles, so I want to get my strength up. And 1 day is going to be focused on a little bit more of a cardio and vascular push, or that endurance. Or if you're good on strength, you need to get your endurance up the other way around, where it's like, all right, 2 days a week is going to be going on cardio and building that cardiovascular endurance and that long push. And then 1 day is going to be focused on strength, so I don't diminish too much strength. But like laying that out in the beginning and having a framework, that way like you move with intent, you know what you're going to do, you're more than likely to achieve those goals moving forward. So like, decide, set a date, land on a frequency that you're going to be training, and then land on an intensity level, or the way that you're going to be training at that frequency. And then like she was saying, you want to lay out ways to measure your progress. And so like, do some sort of assessment in the very beginning. So if you're worried about your overall pace, then run a mile. And
how fast can you write?
Exactly.
Do the mile. Write it down. Don't think it's up here. You have to write it down so you don't forget.
You want legitimate, like, forms of measurement, not just like, oh, that felt good, I felt like I was faster. Like, that's like, when the wind blows, I feel faster, but it doesn't mean I am. And so it's like, all right, like, measure, track, time, run the mile, see where you're at, and then also like, how long did it take and how do you feel? Like, did you run a mile in 6 minutes and you feel gassed, and then next time you run a mile in 6 minutes you feel like you can keep going? Like that, then you know, like, all right, like, this is my time and this is how I feel. Like, so tracking all of that is huge, because it's gonna allow you to know like how you're moving forward. I know one of Spartan's favorite tests is like the 5-minute burpee test, and so like they take you to hell. That's what that is.
5 minutes of burpees. I feel like that's just horrible.
Yeah,
but it'll definitely help with that endurance, for sure.
And so, but like doing that, like, as a good fit test, that's definitely going to help build strength as well as endurance, cardiovascular and muscular endurance. So like doing that in the very beginning and say like, all right, 5 minutes, I got 6 burpees, and then great starting point.
I hope you can do, but hey, we all start somewhere.
And then, you know, like, hey, after a couple weeks of training, I went from 6 to 12. You doubled your, you know, whatever. My training is working. But like having that measurable, like that system in place to measure how you're doing is awesome. But then also, once again, you have to be honest with yourself. If you come to a testing point and you're not making the progress that you want, you have to look at if your training is being beneficial. So like the more you train, the reality is that you will have diminishing returns. So like the first time, yeah, you will be able to double your progress, like double your performance if you're just starting out. And then the more that you go, like you'll go from like 50%, or you'll go like be able to double, and then you'll like increase by like maybe 50%. And so like it'll be diminishing returns. You're not always gonna go from like, oh, like I was sitting on the couch and I started running, I lost 25 pounds in 2 weeks, and now I can run 5 times faster than I could 2 weeks ago. Like that's awesome. But if you kept it up, you would be nothing, and you would be super fast. Like that's cool. But realize that like progress is progress, and so don't diminish your success or your efforts because your return isn't coming at the same rate. Because like as you get stronger, there's only so much you can add to your arsenal. So like realize like, all right, like I'm moving forward, I am getting stronger, this is working. But you also have to take a hard look in the mirror and realize like, look, is this working? If not, how can I correct and adapt and change it so that I can get the results that I want? So like if you're not getting faster or like a steady pace, then it's like, all right, like what can I do? Go back to the drawing plan. How can I tweak this? And like, I'm always a fan of like tweaking things. Like don't scrap something all out and then start all over, because then you're potentially starting from ground one. So like make a small adjustment to your training. Like, all right, like do I need to bump up the intensity? Do my runs need to be a little bit different? Do I need to do intervals instead of long distance? Do I need to do hills instead of trails? Do I need to do street instead of the treadmill? Like whatever it is, like figure out a small alteration. Don't just go like, all right, I'm gonna go from running a mile to a marathon this weekend. Fuck it, I'm all out. You know, but like make a small adjustment and then give yourself a decent amount of time and then retest. Like 2 to 3 weeks is minimum on a alteration to both your nutrition and your performance. So like if you're in the gym and you're trying something, you're pushing hard for 2 weeks, then retest. Testing yourself every week isn't going to give you a good pulse on it, how much you're moving forward. So like you have to be realistic with yourself. Things take time. It didn't take you a week to get where you are now, so it's going to take some time to get to where you want to be. I know this is a lot of information. Tomorrow we're going to be going over a lot of stuff as well. Tomorrow we'll hopefully have the link up. Sorry that we didn't get it the way that we had intended, so that you guys can be on here the way that you wanted. And then we'll also be a little bit more prepared in regards to writing things down so you can like see, because like we're talking right now, and so like actually we can do that right now a little bit. You ready?
What am I doing?
We're improvising.
What am I doing? When am I ready?
Training. What did we just talk about in training? So just like put like training one on one.
So pick a race.
Yes, pick a race. See, there he goes. Oh, she's famous for writing incredibly small. So
it's backwards though.
yes.
All right.
So,
Okay. Hold on. Let me scrap that on my scrap paper.
There we go. She's gonna write it backwards and bigger.
How did you
not
know?
Backwards.
Wait. Hold on.
Here we go. This is a skills drill. Are you guys ready?
We'll see how Sammy is. I don't know what it's gonna look like.
This is why I married her. So I'm actually on her other side.
Ah! It worked.
There you go.
That
Pick
worked.
a race.
Ah.
See? That's crazy, huh?
All right. Next one.
Next time we're gonna film in a mirror. That way we don't have to write backwards. And so pick a race, and then after you have a race,
you gotta sign up for the race. Don't
yes.
just pick it. You actually have to like sign up for it. That is what's gonna hold you and commit you to that actual goal.
Pull the trigger.
Pull it. All right. So pick a race, actually sign up for it, and then
start laying out your training plan. Training plan. There you go. If I can speak, it's a training plan.
Oh God, this is a hard one, guys.
Here we go.
Test to see how my brain is.
Get there. Bear with us.
Oh man. Let's see. I don't know if my ends are in the correct spot. Yeah, I'm pretty good at this.
There you go.
Not gonna lie.
So lay out a training plan.
All right, lay out a training plan. Next.
Oh, hold on.
Measure your progress. Hold on, guys.
Just go to the gym. This is Mickey. Say that again?
No. Measure.
Okay, so I have a hard time hearing you. Who is this? Oh, hey, how's it going? Sorry.
Progress. Sorry guys. Oh, that's not the right way. Measure progress. Let's see if it worked. Yes, it did. All right, so measure your progress. So make sure that whatever you're doing, that you have a fit assessment, and you actually retest that fit assessment to see, are you actually progressing? That's Nathaniel. That's one of our trainers. He is here to kick your butt. Don't worry. We'll show him. We'll show you guys a good workout time here shortly with him. Who is that?
Matthew Mazzoni.
What do you want?
I don't know. It's very hard to hear, so I was just like, all right, send me an email so I can clarify.
All right. So last one. Measure progress. And then, once you've measured your progress, reevaluate it. Right. So, like I just said, bear with me. How
was it, sir?
Awesome.
All right. So reevaluate that progress so that you know if you are moving in the right direction,
Live
and
on
then
YouTube.
it will. Oh, we got a visitor. There's our visitor. There he is. So reevaluate your progress, doing that fit test again, making sure that it is pushing you in the right direction. And if you need to, make that small tweak. I'm not going to write it down. That one's a little difficult. But make a small tweak if you need to. And just keep pushing. You know, make sure that you celebrate the little victories that you have. And, you know, because you're amazing. So celebrate those little victories that you have. Push yourself and look at yourself and see, like, am I really pushing myself? Am I actually breaking a sweat? Am I giving up before I'm actually starting? So shift that mindset, and know that that is one of the first steps in regards to the races, is mindset. So physical preparedness, mental preparedness, those are the things that are going to make you successful. And that is one of the reasons, like, why I had personally first signed up for the races. Was I was going through a lot, and I thought, for me, like, if I could do a race and I could challenge myself, like, mentally, physically, then I felt like I could do anything in life. And so knowing, like, when you are there on race day and it's tough, like, don't give up. Just keep pushing forward and telling yourself, like, I got this, I can do this, I'm stronger than this. So your body will give up before your mind gives up. And so if you keep telling your body that you can do it and that you can push, and you just keep pushing forward, you can achieve anything that you want. But the whole purpose of this is really to make sure that you are actually prepared for the race that you are going to conquer. So physically and mentally prepared. So we're going to go over lots of other tips in regards to how you can shift that mindset. We'll go over the actual techniques, so like rope climb technique. I know that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to have fun with. Monkey bars, we got a twister, we got a rope, tires, sled, multi-rig, atlas ball. There's so much. So we're always here for you guys, and we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna go back live again and show you some of those tips and tricks. Tongue-tied, sorry guys.